All right, hey, we got a great episode today. Richard, I'm actually kind of excited about this one. We've got a smoking guest in the house today. So, do you want to say his name?
Yeah, we got Glen Wolff in from Taylor. We just got back from the NAMM show.
Glen, welcome.
Yeah,
thanks.
Welcome,
Great to be
Glen.
here.
So we're going to release this in a couple weeks, probably 2, 3, 4 weeks. We just finished up the NAMM show. Glen's still in town, so the timing was absolutely great.
Perfect.
We're going to talk on a unique topic that is easy to overlook. We're going to talk about hydration and hydrating guitars. I know that's probably a lot of guests are saying, wait a second, you got Taylor in here, and you're going to talk about hydration. Why not talk about Taylor guitars? So we probably will touch on a little bit on different models and different things. Maybe Glen can share some things that they have going on over at Taylor. But right now, we're going to talk about hydration. So Glen, I know this is a topic that you probably talk about all the time, but we have a whole bunch of stuff that we want to get into. We have a lot of dealers that are concerned with hydration, and I know for myself, up until you guys came along, I didn't have the knowledge or I didn't have the background of it, so I do want to jump in and talk about it. So I'm going to let you kick it off a little bit, and then we're going to start in on some questions.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
I talk about this all the time, and I often say, if hydration or humidity wasn't an issue, I could have half the people that I have in service.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time not only talking to end users and consumers and our dealers, but even our distributors all over the world that have really a vast array of different problems.
Sure. And what are some of the problems that you guys get with hydration? I know we deal with it a lot here, and on climate, whether it's dry or it's moist. I mean, we see the guitars move a lot, but I'm sure it's nothing to the level that you guys experience because you're dealing with guitars all across the world. So what are some of the things that you guys look for, or what are some of the things that you guys see a lot of?
Yeah, well, everything we see in the world, we almost see it all in some version in the U.S. because the U.S. is so big and so different. We have desert regions. We have Hawaii and Florida, which are really tropical and humid all the time. We have areas that are really dry in the wintertime and really wet in the summertime.
So
like
let's talk about that. Like, I'm from Arizona. Now, when I was in Arizona working retail, we never, ever dealt with hydration. And looking back on it, oh my goodness, what a mistake that is, because it was super, super dry. We turned on the air conditioning, and any moisture that we had, it would suck it out. We turn on the heat, and then, we're always dealing with the different elements that were going on, but we thought, oh, the guitars are perfectly fine. But looking back again, like I was saying, we're always adjusting them, always compensating for the way they played. So, with that, you're talking about regions. We lived in Arizona, but obviously you and we deal with customers all over the United States. So what about that customer in Florida? What about that customer in Michigan in the summer and the winter? What are some of the things that we should look for with that?
Well, you can boil it down to something really easy. It's really simple. And I also want to throw in that the things that I'm saying here go for any acoustic guitar.
Any brand, yeah.
Really, any instrument.
Sure.
It goes for anything made of wood, really.
Sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
The thing that you want to do to make it easy on yourself is just buy a little digital hygrometer.
Okay.
You can get them for $10 on Amazon. A lot of music stores carry them. A lot of different brands out there. An inexpensive digital hygrometer is going to give you a reading within 5%, and that's plenty accurate enough to maintain a healthy guitar.
And what level should we? What should we try to achieve when we get that?
Shoot for 50%.
50%.
A good range is 45 to 55.
Okay. Now, can you over hydrate a guitar?
Oh yeah.
And what happens then?
Well, when a guitar gets dry, it basically shrinks.
Okay.
The wood shrinks, the top sinks down.
So that's why we get fret end issues.
Fret ends poke out, the guitar starts to buzz.
Okay.
Especially on some upper frets, first thing you'll notice. And then when it gets really dry, the wood will eventually crack. Nobody wants that to happen.
No.
The exact opposite happens when it gets wet. The wood starts to swell up. Your action gets high. The frets can actually look short on the fingerboard when it's swollen.
It's pushing the top up. Is that
Well, it's swelling. Yeah, it's swelling up, so it's like putting a big balloon inside the body and just blowing it up. The whole thing puffs up. And the guitar is now holding all this excess water weight. Your tone changes. It gets dull and thuddy sounding because the wood can't resonate the way that it would if it were closer to 50%.
Gotcha.
So the thing about humidity, it's like, why should I care about humidity? Well, do you want your guitar to always sound and play the same as the day you bought it? It's like, I'm thinking it sounded and played pretty good the day you bought it.
That's why you bought it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what's in it for the player.
Okay.
They can relate to that right off the bat.
Okay, so in a store, you got a great, you guys have a lot of great stores that your products in. So what is the environment in that store that is optimal for you guys? I mean, I know at another retailer, we had what we called a tailor room. And in there, we had a couple different hydration machines that we were pumping moisture into the air. But that was just us. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that do the same thing. So ideally, what should a music store do?
That same range, 45 to 55.
Okay.
Some different things to be aware of for a music store versus just maintaining your guitar inside your case. In a music store, you're going to have different zones. Okay, so you want several hygrometers in your room. A lot of stores like to put their best guitars up high on the wall with little spotlights on them.
So they can touch them?
Yeah, so they look really great. Up there with the lights on them.
Yeah.
It's hotter.
Okay.
Up high, so it's drier up high.
I've never even thought about putting a hydrometer up there. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, from one row to the next, it could be 10% drier.
Oh yeah,
up by
absolutely.
The ceiling.
Wow,
so if you're just barely keeping the range, you're almost at 45 down
most
at eye
of them
level.
are low to the ground or chest high. Yeah,
up there you could be drying your guitars out. We've seen it all the time.
I never even thought about
that. That's true. The lights on them, absolutely.
Yeah. Now you brought up cases. I mean, I know a lot of music stores, and we would do the same thing. Is take guitars, and if you have excess or there's certain guitars, you'd put them in a case. So how does that affect guitars?
What a music store wants to be careful of is having some cases that are also properly maintained, humidity-wise.
Okay.
So this is something that a lot of guys never even think about. But let's say you have the most perfect guitar room in the world. All the guitars are at 50% everywhere in the room. It's maintained perfect. It's a nice room. There's no room for a big pile of cases in that room. So you stick them out in the warehouse.
Okay.
Everybody does it. If the warehouse is 10% humidity because you're in a dry climate, now all your wooden cases are drying out. So what you're going to do, not thinking about it, is sell a customer perfect guitar out of your room. Hey, let me go get you the case. You're going to grab that case that's all dried out, and you're telling the customer, now the safest place to keep your guitars is in the case. And it is. He's going to put his guitar in the case. And that case, since it's at 10%, it wants to be at 50% too. So
it sucks all that moisture.
It sucks right out of the guitar. And you could end up, having your customer ruin their brand new guitar without thinking about it.
Thankfully, I'm not going to hell for that because I've done that for years. But anyways.
Well, it's just being aware, and you don't have to maintain all your cases, but have a couple of each size ready to go. Either throw a humidifier in the case out in the warehouse or just bring a few cases in your acoustic room. Have them prepped and ready.
I'm interested only for the fact of the people that you talk to. I mean, percentage-wise, how much education like this are you constantly having to work with your dealers? I mean, you guys have done a great job over the years, and so a lot of your guitars are in a great environment. Or is this a constant thing where you're like, man, we have to constantly put this message out because people are just doing whatever they want?
That's a great question, and it never ends.
It never ends.
I came to terms with that a long time ago. I've been a tailor for 20 years, and you can never let up because think about how many new stores are coming along all the time. How many new store employees?
Yes.
How many veterans that
don't care? Yeah.
Well, they never had to learn.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Maybe they're
in Southern California, close to us, where you really don't have to do much because it's naturally right in that 50% range all the time.
Wow.
So they never had to address it, or somehow they got by.
You guys suck. I want 50% all the time in this.
Well, and that reminds me of what A lot of people are experiencing.
It's like 100% out there right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead. I'll quit
it's
cutting you
raining
off.
in the warehouse right now.
Yeah.
It is warm out. A lot of people experience this and don't even realize that they are. So one of the funny things we hear is a guy will come in with his guitar and he'll go, "Hey, my action's a little low. Can you make me a winter saddle?"
Yes. Okay.
Just a taller saddle.
Yes.
Because I have that for my other guitar. And we're like,
Yes.
a winter saddle? What are you doing? Well, in the winter, my guitar starts to buzz. So I take out the saddle that's in there and put in my winter saddle that's a little taller.
Seriously?
Yeah,
I've never.
And then
even
it doesn't buzz.
I have. Yeah.
What's really happening is their top is sinking.
Yes.
Because their guitar's
sure,
drying out.
yeah.
In their mind, they're fixing it by putting a taller saddle in,
Yeah.
but they're ignoring the humidity issue.
They can't. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe it's moving ever so slightly that if you put the guitar up, you can't see it, or could you see it? I'm assuming you would be able to see the guitar moving that much. But.
It's a subtle thing, and it's a hard thing to see if you're not working at a guitar factory, music store, and you're not used to looking at it. You're really not going to be able to see it.
Okay.
It's a slight enough. Now, in extremes, you're going to see it. The whole top can look sunk like a bowl.
Sure.
You know.
Now, so music stores, about 50%. That's what we want. Mm-hmm. Now, is that for the acoustic room or the whole store or a combination?
It's the acoustic room. You know, if some stores are too small or they're laid out in a way where they can't have an acoustic room, and then it's kind of a struggle to maintain a whole store.
Oh, sure,
But some people try to do that just because of the size of the store.
Yeah. Now you brought up hard shell cases, and you gave us some great information there as far as cases being dried out. But what about gig bags? Mm-hmm. That's another thing that a lot of people want gig bags. They have cases, and they also have gig bags if they're going to a gig back and forth, or just to store it in there so it doesn't get dinged or knocked over. But what about gig bags?
Yeah, that's a great question. And in a Taylor, we sell a lot of models that come standard with a gig bag and not a hard case. But the same rules apply. You can maintain the humidity inside a gig bag pretty much just as easy as you can inside a case.
Okay.
And a lot of people think you have to have a case, but a case isn't vapor-proof.
True.
It doesn't block it off. What a case does is just gives you a little bit of a barrier because all that wood is already holding 50% moisture. Mm-hmm. And if your guitar is in it and you forget to check the humidifier, the guitar can get a little moisture from that case instead of just kind of drying out into the air. But the main thing to think about is you're stopping that flow of air over the guitar, which is going to make it change the fastest.
Okay.
So in a bag, the air's not blowing right over it.
Gotcha.
And even with the humidifier in the bag, you're creating some extra moisture for the guitar to draw from. Mm-hmm. So you're not off the hook with a gig bag.
Okay.
You can do the same thing.
Now, so you guys are a manufacturer. You guys do all the wood. You guys deal with all this stuff. So if hydration is an issue, why don't you just make tops of guitars and backs and sides that are dried out? Why not use dry wood?
Yeah.
Completely dry wood.
Well, the range that we choose gives the guitars its best chance of living anywhere in the world.
Okay.
When we're shooting for that 45 to 55% humidity range, that's kind of right down the middle worldwide. So a guitar that gets a little over humidified right now would really be swollen if we used wood that was, say, dried down to 10%. Yeah, it wouldn't dry out and crack, but if you had just a little bit of moisture in the air, now it's going to swell up. So you still have a problem.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, so at that range where we're building them, and this is where all the manufacturers are building their guitars. Yeah, it really is the best spot. And you got to know that as a manufacturer, the last thing we want is for a guitar to crack. We do everything we can possibly think of. I mean, the steps we go through to treat the wood and kind of pre-shrink the wood, if you think of it that way. Think, how when you buy a new T-shirt, if it's not pre-shrunk cotton, you wash it once and it shrinks down 2 sizes. You can't even wear.
That's horrible.
Yeah, sure.
I hate shirts that pre-shrink or they shrink. They need to be pre-shrunk.
Yeah. So we kind of do that with the tops. What we do is dry them out, rehumidify them, dry them out again, rehumidify them. So that when they do dry, most of that movement's done with. It's going to move a minimal amount. But it's wood. It can
so
still
say a
move more.
guitar's at 50%. how much movement can we expect?
When it
If it's at 50%, is it pretty well stable at that point? Does it move much? Maybe a little bit, or is it pretty consistent?
Well, it's the environment dictates that.
Okay.
The guitar's at 50%. If it's an environment around 50%, it's not moving
Then
at
it
all.
don't move.
And
Okay.
that's why you want to maintain it with the humidifiers. And that's where your digital hygrometer is your friend.
Gotcha.
You don't have to guess. You don't have to cite the top. You don't have to be an expert. All you got to do is
Okay.
look at it once in a while and say, hey, you know what? My hygrometer is reading 35%. That's a little too dry. I better get a guitar humidifier in there.
Now, is that month sensitive? I mean, is there certain months that we need to really, really pay attention, or is that months and your demographic? Like if you're in Florida, you get a lot of moisture, you got a lot of humidity, and you talked briefly about having too much and what it can do. But is there certain times of the year that you should pay more attention to?
Yeah, well, most people in the U.S. have a problem with the guitars getting too dry.
Okay.
And as a rule of thumb, once you turn the heat on in your house, that's when you really need to think about your guitars.
Gotcha. Okay. And I learned that when I'm putting a lot of lotion on my hands, your guitars are dry as well.
That's a good way to think of it. Yeah.
Is that an accurate way to think of it?
Well, you're drying out.
Oh, I'm drying out, so I'm thinking, oh man, the guitars are drying out as well.
I've got natural dry skin.
Yeah.
Or, think about the doors and windows in your house. A lot of times in the summertime, it's like, man, I can't even open this window.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Swelled up.
The wood swelled up.
Yes.
In the wintertime,
Gotcha.
the wood shrunk, and now it flies right up.
Okay. Well, I built a house last year and had crown molding, and I looked up above my stove and seen a little bit of a gap on the seam of the crown molding. Well, I looked up the other day, and it's gone because it shrunk.
You haven't been burning anything in the stove, hopefully, this time of year.
Well, no.
So it's got
There's
time.
more moisture in the air.
Yeah, it's swelling back up. It'll probably open back up.
In the winter, it will. And I do have a humidifier, or I'm hydrating my house. I mean, I run it and put moisture in the air because it dries out even in my house. And like I said, I've just paid attention to this. I know it's a crazy topic, and a lot of times people go, why are we talking about hydration? It's not that big of a deal. But over the last several years, I have found out it's a big, big, big deal. And another way I want to bring this up, and of course, we have used guitars, so I don't want to minimize it and say it's less of a big deal. But with new manufacturers, that's got to affect a warranty, would it?
Well, damage from humidity issues
It's not
never
your fault.
covered. It's never covered by warranty. If you dry your guitar out, it's kind of like dropping your guitar.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Warranty isn't insurance.
It's neglect.
It is. It really is.
How much on the owner, when you guys ship guitars, are you guys getting a lot of people that are very, they had a lot attentive to this? I mean, are they like, oh yeah, we're going to make sure we take care of these, or is this something that you have to really, again, I'm coming back to the dealers. I'm wondering to how much do dealers need to pay attention to?
So you're educating the dealers to educate the consumer. Is that
absolutely
accurate?
Yeah? Okay. Because we want Taylor owners to be happy.
Absolutely.
We want them to love their Taylor guitars.
Sure, yes.
Absolutely.
We want them to love their Taylor dealer, and
buy another one.
Yeah. Or 7.
Absolutely.
So it's all about being happy with your purchase, and that gets back to, we're doing everything we can to educate our customers because we want them to avoid any issues that they could run into. So that's why we put so much emphasis on training the dealers and training consumers directly. We have a lot of info on our website.
Yeah.
Lots of YouTube videos with Bob Taylor himself showing how to use guitar humidifiers and bring one back to life after it's dried out.
Really?
There's a lot of great stuff out there, and it's not that the guitars are extra sensitive. We just know how they can react. In spite of everything we do to make them as stable as possible, they're still wood, and we're going to keep using wood. Wood makes the best sounding guitars. We're not going to switch to something else, and it's all about maintaining it, and it's easy to maintain. You just have to know a little bit.
Gotcha.
And we want the dealers to know enough to have this talk with their customer as they're buying the guitar and not wait until they have a problem.
Gotcha.
So for us, it's huge. We have a thing called Taylor University.
Yeah.
Where we do sales training. There's a lot of online stuff we do with our dealers. We've also done tons of in-person training. We'll fly 20 or 30 dealers out to the factory at once for training. And that's not just sales stuff. I'll go in and have a big humidity talk with these guys at the same time.
Gotcha.
And man, you just see their eyes light up
absolutely.
when you say something they never thought about. Like I had one dealer,
I can imagine.
he was talking about remodeling his acoustic room. And after I was talking about, how all the wood in your acoustic room is also going to be absorbing moisture.
I was getting ready. Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah, they do wood walls, which look great. Rough cut lumber with guitars hanging, looks beautiful.
But it's sucking moisture as well.
Sucking moisture, and it's not a problem if you maintain it. You just have to realize that that's another factor in your room. So you're gonna need a stronger humidifier.
About that. Yeah,
and this particular dealer, we get done, he goes, "You just saved me a ton of money."
Absolutely.
I go, "Well, how'd I do that?" He goes, "I was trying to decide to go with natural wood floors in my acoustic room or laminate, and I'm going laminate."
Well, I don't blame him there. Yeah, no, that's good information. Now, so what are some of we'll come back to this topic, but what's some of the cool stuff that you guys are doing right now, whether it be bracing or models? Man. I was looking at the show, I was looking at, I can't remember the model, if it was like a 614 or something like that, but seeing the flame maple on the back and sides, and I was just like, man, this thing looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But outside of woods, what else are you guys doing? I know, and I'm jumping ahead. Maybe it was at the winter show you guys released some different bracing, or
that's the
you
big
can correct
story
me
right
if
now.
I'm wrong.
No, that's the
let's
big
talk about
Taylor
that.
story right now.
Okay.
V-class bracing. So Andy Powers has departed from traditional X bracing.
Okay.
Right now it's available on all of our all solid wood Grand Auditorium models.
Okay. And why are you guys doing that? What are the advantages?
The advantages, we call it a new sonic engine.
Okay.
So with the V bracing, it increases the stability of the guitar from headstock to the tail end.
Okay.
So it's more of one solid structure from end to end.
Okay.
So we get increased sustain.
Yeah.
We get projected volume. It's kind of like a line array speaker now, or 20 feet away. It's just as loud as it is right in front of the guitar.
Okay.
And the craziest thing that happens is the intonation is
interesting,
off the charts accurate.
This is new this year?
Yeah, it just came out this year.
Okay.
Yep. And we had a lot of brand new models at the summer show that are being built now with this V-class bracing.
And what models is that?
It's all of our Grand Auditoriums right now.
So it doesn't matter the
300 series and higher.
Gotcha.
And that's the 14
Yeah.
series?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you brought that up, because I've never done backflips over maple. It's not my favorite wood type when it comes to guitar, but like on the 600 series, for some reason, after you guys did that, I was like, man, I think this bracing is affecting away this maple sound, because it sounds like $1 million. Am I crazy?
You're not crazy.
Okay.
And,
not relating to guitars. Yeah. Okay.
Is this thing on?
Yes. Yeah.
No. Well, Andy did everything he could to our X-Brace design guitars over the past several years. I mean, every little minor tweak you could think of. So the 600s are the maple series.
Sure.
They were sounding killer even before the V-Class came along. What a lot of people do designing a guitar, they'll take a rosewood guitar and say, hey, we want to make a maple guitar, and just swap out the rosewood
woods
for maple, and not redesign the guitar for that tone wood. And that's why it doesn't sound good. Because
so maybe that's what I was
been
hearing in the past with various manufacturers.
Yeah, but Andy approached it more like from his knowledge of classical instruments.
Okay.
There's a lot of great sounding arch tops, violins, cellos.
Sure.
And they're made from maple. So they were already doing really well, and then with the V-class bracing, they're just up, to a whole nother level. I want to go back on the intonation point, because it's kind of confusing if you just think about, well, how can bracing on a guitar change the intonation at all?
It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
Intonation, most people think of it as just the scale length. Where's your nut? Where's your saddle? Where are your frets placed? That's a big part of it. But beyond that, it's what are the notes or the sounds this instrument is creating. And with the V-class bracing, the top is moving side to side instead of like a four-way motion. And we're getting less disharmonic overtones coming off the top to begin with. So it's moving more musical. The notes and their overtones are much cleaner and purer. So every time you play a chord or a note on a guitar, you have the fundamental and the overtones. And there's a mix of overtones a lot of times, especially in chords and complex chords that sound a little off. Okay. And guys in the studio for years, they'll retune their guitar for different parts of the song. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that. Wow. They'll play part of a song and go, well, now I'm moving up the neck. It's not quite in tune. Let's cut there. I need to retune.
Really?
Let's do this part. Okay. And then I go back to this other part just to get it perfect because they hear that well,
Okay.
So with this guitar, what we're finding are guys are playing it and playing things they would normally avoid on an acoustic guitar.
Really?
Just go, man, this is amazing.
All because of the bracing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, as far as your education with hydration, does that play into this as well?
It does.
I mean, it just kind of brings it all back together? Or?
Yeah, it still applies. Same rules apply. You still want to maintain that guitar at 45 to 55%. The guitars, from what we've seen, are more stable than an X-Brace guitar. They're still going to move because they're wood, but they move differently as the wood starts to dry, and they don't move as much, but they would still, eventually dry out and have some action issues, or they could still crack. It's still the same materials, but they're stronger and more stable.
And I would assume that, as high quality as your instruments are, there's probably still an optimal level that the instrument performs at. And it's obviously got to be within that hydration percentage, I would assume.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be playing its best.
Now, what about finish? Because we have some guitars that are satin, some that are gloss. How does that affect the humidity and all that? I mean, is a gloss guitar help hold it in? Does a satin breathe it out? Tell me what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, well, Bob has answered this question a lot of times, so I get the answer right from him.
Because, good.
And people ask us that all the time. They're like, why don't you just finish the inside of the guitar and you won't have to worry about humidity? But it's not true. The finish doesn't stop water vapor from passing through into the wood. And that's what we're dealing with. Okay. It'll stop water. You can pour water on a finished guitar and it'll run off.
Yeah.
But we're talking about water vapor, and that's like at a molecular level, it's small enough to pass through that finish. Gotcha. So even if you had finish inside the guitar, it's not going to stop that from happening. Plus, it would look really messy.
Has anybody tried that? I'm sitting here picturing somebody finishing the inside of a guitar.
That's got to affect the sound too.
I would.
So I'm sure unfinished.
Adding weight.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. I've seen some, not that Taylor's done, but I've seen some customers send their guitars in for repair that have like dumped a quart of lacquer in it and swished it around or something. I've seen some wacky stuff, but that's not going to help. Satin finish protects the wood just as well as glossy finish. It's just getting the coating over the wood.
That Taylor satin is some of the best looking satin I've ever seen too.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, we've got a brand new silent satin finish. I don't know if you guys noticed the Builder's Reserve.
Yeah. We did. Yeah. That's beautiful.
All satin finish. We call it silent satin. It's a new process that's really quiet. A lot of satin guitars, there's a slight roughness to them, and it rubs up against your shirt in the studio and stuff, and you can hear this swoosh, swoosh, swoosh.
Yeah.
The silent satin is
slick,
pretty much silent.
Is it that K14 we had? Was that it? We had those K14.
I've seen it on something. It's really, really nice. Now, on that topic, and maybe you know, maybe you don't. Sometimes satin, if it's rubbed a lot, it'll turn gloss. Does this help with it not glossing? Or do we know yet?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
It's such a new finish for us. We just started using it in January.
Okay.
So I would expect it to gloss up a little bit.
Sure.
It's just what happens.
Yeah. No, those are beautiful finishes. You've said a lot of smart things, and I should have started this by asking, give us your job description there. You have a wealth of knowledge, and so let me cut in and you tell us what your job description and some of that is, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the customer service manager at Taylor, and what that means is customer service. We have all interactions with consumers. We're the go-to group. I've got 5 people in my group, and whether it's phone call, email, web chat, we do these days.
Oh, okay.
Lots of ways to reach out to us, and It's anything you want to ask Taylor Guitars. The cool thing about our group is everyone is really educated in guitar repair. I have some of my guys have decades of experience in production and repair, so they're really knowledgeable. When you call Taylor with any question, we're going to do our best to help you. If it's repair related, we're going to try to troubleshoot it over the phone with you. You know, we don't just have a room full of people saying, well, just ship it here and we'll fix it. We're going to say, did you check the battery? Try replacing this string. Maybe adjust the truss rod. We have a video on our website that shows you how to do it. We're going to try to walk you through and get that thing fixed as quick and easy as possible.
Now, on that topic, what is your background? Because you have guitar repair experience and all that as well. So
I do. Well, I've been at Taylor for 20 years. When I started there, I was in the repair shop. It was just me and two other guys doing all the repairs that came back to the factory.
Gotcha.
I'd say within a couple years of doing repairs, I started helping the customer service guy. It was just one guy doing that job. And that became my job half the day, then 3/4 of the day. Then they were like, Glenn, do you want to be a repair guy or service? So I made the move to service, worked with him for a while. Then he moved on to sales, and I became the service manager. I've seen a lot of growth in the company, a lot of different tasks have been divvied up to other people. But that's really our focus now. Well, I want to take a brief departure. I've got tons of questions popping in my head, and I don't want to get too sidetracked with them. But one thing that I appreciate about your guys' company, and we try to do that here at MIRC, is talk about the company culture. Everybody I've met at Taylor, no exclusions, everybody I've met, and you guys probably keep some employees from people, but all of them are good people. And that's something that I can't say, unfortunately, about every manufacturer, although most of them have great employees. But you guys have great employees. What are you guys doing different at Taylor that maybe we can share with some of the people that are listening? Man, I wish I knew. It just feels natural, you know. As the same approach I have to service. You want to do what's right. You know, and I think that's something that comes down from the top. So it starts with your leaders, you know, it's the trickle-down effect. It is amazing how many great people are at Taylor. And if you walk into our HR area, we have a 10-year wall where once you've been there 10 years, you get your photo taken and put on the wall.
Really?
Oh, that's
and
cool.
that wall is huge and it's full.
Yeah.
There's
people come there and don't want to leave, right?
Yeah.
Lifelong employees.
It's amazing. You know, there's a ridiculous number of 20-year veterans.
Wow. That's you.
That's me now.
How many were there when you started?
Let's see, that was 98. There was probably about, I think back then we had maybe 300 or 400 employees total. Now worldwide it's 1,000.
Oh my goodness! So you guys have gotten more.
Yeah,
because you were at 750, give or take, and so you guys are over. You guys are about 1,000.
Yeah. Wow. We build a lot of guitars.
Now in Mexico, you guys have ping pong tables. Tell us about that.
Well, we do in El Cajon too.
Do you?
Yeah.
And why haven't I been invited? I want to come out. I can play some mean ping pong.
It's the Taylor Guitars ping pong tournament.
Yeah.
You're gonna challenge some pretty good players from what I hear.
All right. I better brush some of the rust off. You know.
Now it's
we've always talked about getting one here, but we just never have.
Yeah,
there's great benefits at Taylor. You know, it's a good company to work for. It keeps the people happy.
Yeah.
Break times, you know, or for taking breaks. You know, we're not trying to force you to work through break time and not tell anybody. You know, so the ping pong tables are just in the areas where we have some space. And every break time there's guys playing.
Okay.
Yep, just try to walk by there.
Yeah. No, I you know, one of these days I'm going to get out there and take a look at it because it sounds like fun. I mean, it's a kind of vibe that I think more companies need to have part of their business, because I think it does. It gives employees escape, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes, to take a break from the day so they can come back fresh. So
it's fun.
The ping pong table will probably be we do something different. We're in the South. We eat.
I've noticed that.
Yes, and I was actually, we're going to be, 4th of July is coming up here in a couple days, so when people hear this, it'll be a few weeks, but 4th of July will be here in a couple days, and I think we're going to barbecue, probably tomorrow. So
Man,
we just got done. Oh yeah, we should have done it today.
We had a bunch of barbecue last week too.
Yeah, so so we like eating.
Back to the Mexico thing, I just wanted to mention something because this is a common question.
Okay.
People wonder where we make our guitars.
Okay.
You know, and we have 2 factories. One's in El Cajon, California, San Diego area, and one is in Tecate, Mexico. Right across the border. It's less than an hour drive between the 2 factories.
Okay.
And it's kind of a state-of-the-art facility that we have in Tecate.
Yeah, I've heard great things about it.
It's a brand new building.
Yeah.
It's maybe done less than 2 years since it's been completed, but it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Everything was laid out under one roof, you know, from the clean end to the dirty end.
Sure.
It's just mind-blowing. And the cool thing about having those 2 factories so close is we have department managers that manage both
places.
factories.
Wow, okay.
So the Finnish guy, you know, will go to Mexico a few times a week and check on things.
And the product coming out of there, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's made in Mexico." You know, you hear all these different people say different things. The product's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's Taylor. It's Taylor product. I mean, so
that's the thing. It's our factory. We didn't hire a factory to build guitars and put Taylor on the pavement.
Exactly. It's your
our
factory. Yeah. And it's a great way for people to get introduced to Taylor. It's at a price point that most everybody that wants a guitar can get.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for a great quality guitar, but you don't have the budget that you will in 5 or 10 years, that's a great guitar.
Great
guitars.
We've
gotten them in and just, man, some of them sound amazing. All of them sound amazing. So no concerns there. We love it.
And they have the same lifetime warranty that our U.S. made guitars have.
So you guys, okay, because a lot of manufacturers, depending on where they are and what's going on, they'll change the warranty. So you guys are doing lifetime just like you do in America.
Buy a brand new
so
Taylor
there's
from
no
authorized
reason
dealer,
why someone shouldn't have a Taylor guitar.
Yeah, you've got nothing to risk.
Gotcha.
And
That's amazing.
It's the 1 in 200 series.
Well, it starts with the babies.
Okay.
So babies, GS Minis, Big
Which is
Babies,
GS
Academy
Minis?
Series,
Really?
100 Series, and 200 Series.
Okay.
Anything with a layered wood back and sides is made in Tecate.
Gotcha.
The solid wood guitars, which is 300 series and up, are made in the U.S.
Now tell us the difference of those, because a lot of times people, and sometimes I can hear it, sometimes I can't, in a solid wood guitar. But a lot of those, man, they sound amazing. So having a laminated back and sides is of no concern. But tell us what the difference is.
Well, they still sound great. And most of your tone is coming from the top of the guitar, and we use a solid top on everything. Okay. And it's so many times, you know, it's the not just the materials but the design of the guitar that's really critical also. So a lot of our laminate models, like a 110 for example, I've played them against some other brands that are made of all solid wood, but they really don't sound very good.
Sure.
So even though it looks good on the tag, you know, you still want to play and listen to a guitar.
Yes.
Now, what you gain by going with all solid wood is just a sweeter resonance to the guitar.
Okay.
Because, you know, you don't have the layers of wood and glue that are trying to vibrate musically. So you're
structurally just as good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You pick up like a 614, and then you play a 214. It still has that same Taylor feel on the guitar. It really does. It plays absolutely great. And I'm also assuming that by hydration, whether it's a baby Taylor or it's a 914, you guys would always think the same exact thing across the board.
We do, yeah. Now the layered wood guitars are the back and sides that are layered wood aren't going to move as much, you know, as a solid wood guitar. But you still have a solid top. You've got a solid wood neck and fretboard. You know, it's still very important. But they are a little tougher humidity-wise. Yeah, but same rules apply.
A little bit more resistance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, which is good because a lot of times you're getting newer players or maybe people that haven't been playing as much, so they're not paying attention with hydration as someone who's been playing for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of probably a blessing to them, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, just makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Nate?
Man, I don't know. Man, this has been a great conversation. What are some of the things that we've stumbled across with a lot of our dealers is a lot of times, what are some misconceptions maybe that people are doing when they think they're hydrating their guitars correctly, but maybe they necessarily aren't? Because I think I stumble across a lot of people, like you said, oh, well, we're down in Florida.
Yeah.
It's humid everywhere. Well, that might be just somebody just kind of sloughing it off. Well, somebody might be going, well, I'm trying to hydrate my guitars, but what are some things that they need to really be thinking about, but they're actually not doing it correctly?
That kind of comes back to the digital hygrometer. It's going to tell you what to do.
So you just got to jump right. That's what
just
everybody needs to get.
Quit guessing.
Quit guessing and
so,
just do it.
People hear, hey, I'm supposed to humidify my guitar. Mm-hmm. They live in Florida. They wet their humidifier every day and put it in there, and they'll blow their guitar up. Yeah. Right? Just not fully understanding what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
What you're supposed to do is keep it in that 45 to 55% range, no matter what that means.
Yeah.
If it's down to 30, you're adding humidifiers to bring the level up.
Gotcha.
If you're over 55, 60%, you're using dehumidifiers to bring that level down.
Okay, talk about dehumidifiers. This is a great thing. Let's talk about that. So how should we use those?
There's some really great products on the market. One of the easiest products out there is that D'Addario two-way humidification system. It's three little pouches and it's the only product that works in both directions.
Interesting.
It's going to maintain, this 48% humidity level in your case automatically.
Okay.
So you just throw those in the case, store your guitar in your case, and it's going to do the work for you. You just have to check the packets once in a while. When they're dried out, they feel like jelly inside when you buy new ones.
Yeah.
When they're dried out, they're done.
They're hard as rocks. Yeah.
But if the humidity creeps up a little bit, they'll absorb some of that excess humidity.
Interesting.
So that's a great choice for anybody.
Okay.
A brand new guitar. It's a great way to maintain a good humidity level.
Do most stores stock those?
Yeah, most stores carry D'Addario and Planet Wave stuff.
Okay.
Is
that who you guys recommend? Is there a brand or a style that you guys recommend?
They're the only ones that are making that product right now.
What about other products?
Other products. So
hydrate.
If you're in more of an extreme environment, let's say you're in a desert area, those packets from D'Addario, they might dry out pretty quick. You might have to buy a new set every 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, wow. Geez.
So, if you're in that kind of environment, you want to use a water-based humidifier that you can just refill. A couple great ones are from Music Nomad and also from Oasis. Those are two brands that are refillable. I've
seen the Oasis one. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, the Music Nomad one looks like some you may have seen. It's just the plastic container with a sponge inside, and there's holes in the container.
Yeah. Okay.
But the sponge material they use holds 10 times the amount of water of a normal sponge.
Okay.
So it holds a lot.
So it could be demographics could dictate which kind you get. One that absorbs and one that gives.
Yeah. And for absorbing, everyone's seen little silica gel packets that you get in your shoes or electronic gear.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for a guitar, think big. Think like, a large amount of silica gel.
20 times that size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can get that. There's bamboo charcoal products, which absorb moisture.
Really?
That's
I've never even heard of
natural
that.
product.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that either.
Yeah, we sell those off our website. I worked with a company that was already making these, and I said, hey, just repackage some and call it a guitar dehumidifier.
Great
We've already
idea.
got the product.
Yeah.
And
it's like, can you put our name on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually worked with them to do that, and that's available on our website and through our dealers.
And about how much do those sell for?
Oh, like $12.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for anybody out there.
There's products out there. There's some really great renewable dehumidifiers also. A company called Eva Dry has a product that has silica glass in it, and
interesting.
It absorbs a lot of moisture, and it has a little color indicator on it, and when it's done, you take it out of your case, and it has a little plug that flips out of the back. You plug it into the wall.
Okay.
It dries the glass beads out, and you can keep using that for 10 years.
Wow.
That thing is $30.
Wow.
Yeah, $30. Okay.
So there's no excuse why our dealers, your dealers, everybody's dealers shouldn't get active with doing this. Because especially if you got a guitar that you spend thousands of dollars in some cases, $12 to even $30 is nothing in comparison to opening up your case and seeing a crack.
Oh yeah, and as
that's got to be heartbreaking to open up and see it split.
Man, we work so hard on those guitars when we build them. We fuss and suffer over every little scratch and ding as it's getting built and going through to be cased up and sent to its new home. And it's heartbreaking for us too, even though it's not our guitar anymore, to see one that's
but
been
you guys
broken.
built it. Yeah.
Hey, on the humidifiers, I want to mention something else that we started talking about last year. When you're humidifying or dehumidifying a guitar inside its case, everyone's so used to putting things in the sound hole of the guitar.
Yeah.
That's just where they go. It's a sound hole humidifier.
Sure.
It doesn't have to go there.
Okay.
Your case is the chamber.
Okay.
So a safer place really is like in the cutaway area or behind the heel of the guitar.
Okay.
There's really no benefit to having that product hang in the sound hole. And if something were to happen, let's say you put too much water in or something and it leaked out by mistake.
Yeah, it wouldn't get in the guitar.
Exactly.
Wow,
Instead of dripping in the guitar, it'll drip in the case.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's going to do the same thing. You're maintaining that environment within the case.
Gotcha. Great. That's a great point.
Yeah, I have a lot of dealers that, and I don't think we touched on this, is different times a year. A lot of times I actually have dealers that will stay away from buying acoustic guitars from us in January and February because they're like, man, every guitar I get in that's cracking, and I'm always sitting there going, well, when the guitars come in, you need to take care of it. But not only that, we're shipping guitars on cold, freezing trucks in the middle of the winter time, and they want to get it in, unbox it, take it, and put it out
instead
on the
of
wall.
wait for 24 or 48
That's exactly
hours.
Right.
So what do you guys recommend on that? That's a good topic that you bring up, because I know dealing with another high-end manufacturer, they had labels at certain times of the year, like I can't remember if it was 48 hours, but to have it acclimate. What do you guys recommend?
That's more of a concern for the finish.
Oh,
so if you're using lacquer finish,
so it doesn't check.
So
you guys don't really have to deal with that,
we
right?
Don't use lacquer.
Now tell us why. Because you guys use UV, right?
Yeah.
So it's
polyester-based finish.
Okay.
So our finish isn't going to check. Now, if it's 30 below, give it a couple hours.
Okay.
But normal, things in the U.S.
If you're in Alaska and you're outside with the Eskimos,
then the wood itself can kind of check.
Freak out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But in normal circumstances, even in the dead of winter within the continental U.S., we ship guitars all year back and forth. We're not so concerned with that.
Okay. That's an interesting point that you bring up. I always tell people to give it 24 hours to acclimate. So maybe
it doesn't hurt, but man, when that guitar, if you're the consumer, when that guitar comes to your house,
so a couple hours should be good enough.
Yeah,
in most
for
cases.
tailors, you're going to be fine.
All right,
no concern there.
What have we not asked that you think is important for us to bring up, or is there anything?
Yeah, going back to what you were just talking about, the dealers, a couple tips there. Because I've seen stores that know a little bit about humidity, but they're not on point. So they might as well be doing nothing. So if you're a store that's going to sell nice high-end acoustics, you need an acoustic room or a maintained space. Okay. If you don't have that space, you can still get your guitars in the wintertime. Just leave them in the case if you're not going to create a safe environment for them.
Gotcha.
I've seen a lot of stores that have a dedicated acoustic room, and their humidifier is like a little 1-gallon humidifier like you would put in a baby's room. It's not enough. You need a humidifier sufficient for this space.
Or a couple of them even.
Yeah.
Now, is that something you would walk in and say, like you're visiting a dealer and you're like, hey, that's not correct. You need to change that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we want them to be successful.
You don't want them calling and go, hey, we got a tailor that's cracked, right?
Yeah. I'd walk in and go, well, this is why you have some cracked guitars. Look at your room.
Yeah.
Let me help you here. You've got a door on your acoustic room, but it stays open all the time. Close the door. Put a sign on there that says keep door closed.
Sure.
Right? You've got 100-watt light bulbs shining on all the guitars on the top row.
It produces a lot of heat.
Get some LED lights or even put a dimmer on it. You can still get a good effect without having that full blast heat.
Baking them up there.
Get your humidifier. Make sure someone's maintaining that humidifier. The little tiny humidifier I just mentioned in this one dealer.
Yeah, we've got 2 in the shop that are empty. And so I need to walk out of here and go in there and go fill them things up and use them, right?
Not today.
Yeah.
Not today.
Not today.
Remember,
You're
it's
right.
raining in the warehouse.
But still,
right?
nonetheless, maintaining it is something that is a good point. We have a guy that has kind of been slacked in that area. So store owners, managers need to make sure, that's being maintained.
Hey, this is your job. Every day you come in,
exactly.
check it. check it again at lunchtime, check it before you leave.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Someone's
super
gotta own it.
important, though. I'm glad you're bringing that up.
And same thing with dehumidifiers. If you're in Florida,
Okay.
or our distributor in Thailand was
Interesting. Okay.
where it's 90% humidity pretty much year round.
Okay.
He came to one of the Taylor U sessions and went back and took some action and followed up with us. And it was a great success story
Yeah,
here.
okay. Tell us about that.
He got these giant humidifiers for all his, or dehumidifiers for all his stores.
Uh-huh.
So all his stores are in shopping malls.
Oh, okay.
And they would leave the doors open.
Sure. Now the humidity comes in.
So he just changed his whole plan. He got giant dehumidifiers for every store, started leaving the doors shut, made a new sign in the shape of a water drop to put on the door.
Oh,
Say,
that's
please
cool.
come in.
Yeah.
We keep the doors closed for humidity reasons.
Okay.
And within a month of him having them, he told us his employees started coming up to him going, man, all the guitars are playing better.
Really?
So
Wow.
what's going on?
Wow.
Because they were all just swelling up. The action's getting
They
high.
felt good. The guitars were happy.
Yeah, they're back to normal. And it's like,
Well, that's a
awesome.
good
What a
story.
great success story.
Yeah.
So if they can maintain humidity in Thailand, you can maintain
do it
humidity
anywhere.
anywhere.
Okay. Well, then you got happy guitars, and we all like happy guitars.
Yeah, happy
Now,
guitars.
you guys also have a line of killer electric guitars. How does this translate over to that?
Our electric line now consists of a T5, which is kind of a hybrid, acoustic and electric guitar. Exact same rules apply. That guitar is all solid wood. It's completely hollow with a brace top, kind of like an acoustic guitar would be.
Okay.
So exact same rules apply. Our other electric is a T3, which is like a semi-hollow body electric, 2 humbuckers. Now that guitar still has a solid wood neck and fretboard, back and sides. So even though it's going to be a lot tougher than an acoustic, you still want to be aware.
Okay.
Even solid body electric guitars can be affected too.
Fret ends.
Sure.
Fret
Sure.
ends.
Fret ends is what we see a lot in
Yeah,
electrics.
sharp fret
Yeah.
ends on a solid body Strat or Telly. It can happen,
Yeah.
so you want to be aware of it. The body's usually not going to do anything because
Yeah.
it's just a big, thick piece of wood.
Piece of wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had mentioned a little while ago your website. So all of our dealers should go to, what is it, Taylor.com?
TaylorGuitars.com.
TaylorGuitars.com and navigate with us through that. Is there a pull down that says hydrating guitars? Or
There's a support section. Once you
Okay.
get to the support section, you'll see a lot of care topics at the bottom. You can click on each one.
Okay.
They have a little either a tech sheet, or a lot of them have a video also of someone
Good,
talking
good.
and
Okay.
demonstrating what the care topic is.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff there, and there's so much stuff on YouTube also. You can just go to YouTube and put some stuff in that we've created.
Awesome. Well, we'll get the word out even more, especially going into, like you brought up, the winter. That's a time where we hear it the most. This is a topic over the last 2 or 3 years that we've tried to do our part, and we really appreciate you coming in. Next time you come in, we're going to talk about something besides hydrating. We're going to talk about Taylor and all the cool stuff that you guys got and all the models, but we appreciate you coming in. Parting, we have a gift for you.
All right.
So there's a gift.
I love gifts.
Yeah, hopefully it feels nice and cozy on you. It's a T-shirt that says the Music Retail Show. So we always appreciate you. We always appreciate Taylor. We love hanging out with you guys. So
Well, thanks. I love what you guys do here too.
Thank you.
Such
Thank
a great, unique business you guys have here.
Absolutely.
I just love it. Any place you got a dozen or more repair guys, I'm in.
Yeah.
It had to be easy to get you here. You love Nashville too.
I do.
Yeah. So we'll have to do it again. You want to wind us down, Nate?
Yep. So obviously go to TaylorGuitars.com for any education, whether you're a dealer or just an end user. And man, I'm telling you, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. I'll hopefully do this again sometime. And everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
All right, guys, welcome back. Another episode, another great episode. Glenn had a lot to say. There's a ton in it. You might want to go back and listen to that again. But hey, you know what? If you like it, great. Please share this episode with whoever you think might need to listen to it. Also, give us positive reviews on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you listen to it. Also, jump over to Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Please follow us. You can see what we've got going on there as well. But yeah, we appreciate it and hope you guys have a great week.
Own a music store or sell guitars online? Need more inventory to stay competitive in today's market? MIRC is the nation's largest wholesaler of quality used guitars. Visit www.mircweb.com to become a dealer today. Thanks for listening to the Music Retail Show.